This is Coffeeless Programming, an online learning platform to be more knowledgeable about software engineering, clean architecture, and cloud computing. This online learning platform is going to be useful for individuals that would like to transition their careers into software engineering, also for people that are already in tech, and also for students of computer science or software engineering students. They're going to be more knowledgeable about the software engineering craft overall, and so that's the goal of this platform. So this is the first part of the endeavor. Students are going, well, the learners are going to be able to go through different tutorials on programming languages, algorithms, data structures, coding interviews. They're going to be able to subscribe to these web application. When they subscribe, they're going to be notified whenever I create a new post into this platform, or whenever I submit a new message or a new video, new content, they're going to get notified. We're going to have about this website. This section is going to allow our students or learners to understand what this website is meant for, how to use it, what are the tutorials about, and what are the hands-on projects, how to make the most out of their learning experience, basically. There is also the frequently asked section so that they understand again more about the website, something more insightful, and also how to use it in a way that it makes their learning experience better. It's going to streamline that process. It's going to be, let's say, better guided learning process. So what I explain here is that if you don't have previous experience, which could be the case for many people that transition into software engineering or in tech, well, first of all, you need to learn what are programming languages, right? You need to learn the algorithms that you can use in programming languages, some data structures that you can create or that are already provided by the programming languages that you use, the design patterns that you can use to better develop software, and also the last section will be the hands-on projects. Now, obviously, this will be the desirable path that anyone can take, but people that are already experienced, they can just skip some of these tutorials. But for individuals that are just starting to learn the software engineering craft, they are suggested to go through this learning path. Now, the hands-on projects section or tutorial is going to allow our learners to have a hands-on experience in enterprise software application development. So the idea of these hands-on projects is for them to understand and to learn how to implement software at an enterprise level through the software development lifecycle. So, for example, from project inception, you want to define your requirements. You want to know who your user is, what are their requirements, what are their needs. You're going to implement mockups. You're going to do the design. Then you're going to implement the software through clean architecture and trust-driven development. You're going to test your application through that as well. You're going to deploy it, and then you're also going to monitor it. And so these are the 5 steps in the software development lifecycle. They're going to learn how to use serverless computing. They're going to learn about multi-cloud strategies, about cloud providers, how to make the most out of this cloud provider so that their applications are up and running, available, highly available, and maintainable, of course, through clean architecture. So these are the best practices in the industry, and I want them to learn exactly how to achieve implementing these kind of projects that are meaningful and that are going to impact their careers and are going to make them better and more desirable software engineers. And so that will be this part. We're going to have, of course, the section project is something that I'm still working on that, but we are going to have the article section. Now, this article section is not necessarily part of the learning path experience of the learners, but it's going to add to it. It's going to make it more meaningful, more insightful. It's going to add content that will make them more desirable candidates. So, for example, you can go ahead and be a JavaScript developer without having a deep knowledge in memory management in JavaScript, because this kind of concept or memory management in JavaScript is done for you, right? It is already abstracted by the engines, right? But if you were to have this knowledge, though, it may help you in certain situations, right? Where memory leaks could happen in JavaScript applications you don't know why. And so memory management in JavaScript will be a module that can help you be more aware of that. Of course, it's going to add value for you as a software engineer, but it's not necessarily required, right? So that is the article section. You're going to go through an article, for example, comprehensive introduction to computing. You're going to learn how computers work, how they interact with programming languages, and so on. And then you're going to be redirected to the programming languages tutorial, for example. So this web application, this learning platform is going to be based on tutorials and programming languages, algorithms, data structures, and so on. So the first tutorial, if you're just starting, will be the programming language tutorial. You're going to learn about JavaScript, TypeScript, but not only you're going to learn about the programming language, but you're going to learn also the programming language fundamentals, for example, of JavaScript. And so if you go here, you can select the programming language that you want to learn, and then you're going to go to the programming fundamentals to learn about the data types, variables, type conversions in JavaScript. And so this will be the flow of all of the tutorials that I will develop. So in this case, the tutorial is going to be a tutorial on programming languages in the JavaScript language. That will be the category of a programming language. It could also be TypeScript or types or Python, for example. And then we're going to learn a module specifically in JavaScript, so the data types in JavaScript. Now, for example, if we were to have another, which we will have another tutorial on data structures, well, that'll be a tutorial in data structures, right? In JavaScript, so that we're going to be implementing or learn about data structures in JavaScript language. And then, for example, this will be the data structure itself, an array to the array, a matrix, I don't know, like hash table, like that will be the specific tutorial in JavaScript for data structures in, for example, arrays, right? And so that will be the way the tutorials are going to be um, elaborated, right? And so also this is a nice functionality of the post. We're going to have this text in here, or this, let's say, code that they can copy so that they can code along with me as they walk through the explanation of these tutorials and learn more about the programming language. And they're going to be able to go to other sections and so on. So this is going to streamline the learning process, because they know that they need first to go to, to learn about data types, and then after data types they're going to learn about variables and so on. So everything is guided. I want them to make the most out of this learning platform and to never be lost within their learning experience, because they're always going to be guided. So this is the first part of the endeavor. Right, so the platform is already built, it's already deployed to AWS, it's already in the cloud, I already have the domain name. Now the next part of this endeavor, that'll be step 2, that'll be to add content, video recorded content, and also streaming services, so that I can have real-time interaction with the learner community. So I want to create a community out of this web application, and I'm committed to that, and so that'll be a step 2. But of course, for step 2, I need to have first step 1, and so I'm very happy that this is done, and I'm happy also that I'm showcasing this application with you. And so that will be that. I hope you like it, and I hope to be able to bring more information about Coffeeless programming. So the next video is going to be about the administration portal that I'm using for Coffeeless programming, so that you can understand how all of this information is being displayed, because it's not actually static. I'm not using a third-party software or a library. I'm actually using proprietary software, something that I created from the scratch, right? The backend, the front end. This is the client-facing application, but there is also an administration portal, right, that allows me to create this content dynamically. So there is an engine, for example, for creating this kind of post. There is an engine for creating the glossary that we saw before. And I don't know if we saw that glossary, but I'm going to go ahead in here again. But for example, when you go to the document object model, it will display a tooltip, and in this tooltip you need to know, if you don't know what a document object model is, well, I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to give you a tooltip that is going to allow you to read briefly what the document object model is, and so that will be part of the glossary. So also this part is also automated, and you're going to be redirected to the resource if you want to learn more in depth about the document object model, for example. So there is quite a few proprietary software that I'm using as well. And so, for example, in the send email, this is also something that is a package that I created, that I'm using not only for the client side, but also for the administration portal form validation. So I'm not using Formic, I'm not using React Forms, I'm using something that I created which is meant for my application, which is called Coffeeless Form. So it's an easy to understand framework or library that I created. It's already deployed in npm, and it will allow me to create different projects, right, and streamline the form validation process. So I'm going to explain all of that in next videos. So for now, that'll be that. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope to see you soon.